Hi, everybody. So, how do you know which step to take that will impact your business in the best way possible? Today's guest, Angie Colee, is the owner of Permission to Kick Ass, and she has a practical decision making framework that helps prioritize the next steps according to impact, cost and time and money, complexity, and speed of implementation. So, stop spinning over what to do next and translate that into next steps for your small business so that they're real. Oh, translate your next step for your small business into real hard numbers. Welcome to the 15-ish minute coffee chat live stream and podcast with Anna and Selena. This is 11 seasons of helping entrepreneurs and small business owners build more profitable businesses.
I love it. I love it. Here we are for another episode with another great guest. I'm really excited.
I know. I am really great. I'm excited about it too. And it's really, so when we got Angie's intake form, she had like a couple of things on there. And this one really inspired us because I'm like, ooh, when you can translate next steps into hard data to say this is the right direction, it makes a huge difference in confidence and just empowerment as a small business owner that might be feeling a little bit like unsure, right?
Yeah. 100%. I mean, yes, I could talk about our whole conversation we had, and me and Anna, we got like distracted from like trying to complete our task as we were talking about just Angie and what she does and how she does it. And so I'm going to pull her bio up and let's just kind of read.
While you're doing that, I want to throw out our call to action. So drop your answer in the chat, but how do you know which next step to take that will impact your business in the best way possible? Is it just guesswork? Are you rolling some dice? Are you spinning a wheel every day? Do you throw it all into like one of those auto wheel spinners and it says, do some content, reconcile your finances, right? Like, I want to know how you do that. So drop it in the comments.
Yeah. Okay, a little bit about our guest, Angie. She is a leadership and communications coach. She believes that people, not profits or processes, are the most important part of business and helps creative service providers and founders become the leaders for their business needs to thrive. Angie's nickname is the One-Woman Bomb Squad. I love that because if anyone can diffuse a tense client or team situation, she can. That is a magical unicorn quality to have. So I love how she explains what she does. Her mission is to help you grow your team with more confidence and less stress without becoming a completely different person or losing your edge. Angie has a master's degree from Carnegie Mellon and has consulted with and run creative teams for Jeff Walker's Product Lunch Formula, Masterclass, Lowe's, Copy Chief. I love it. Orzi Media and Robert. I can't say this one. Kiyosaki. Oh no, that's Kiyosaki's
Rich Dad brand. Yeah,
Rich Dad brand. Sorry, it's my new glasses. When she's not writing or publishing new episodes of her podcast, Permission to Kick Ass, you'll find her on the road living as a full-time digital nomad with her cats Stella and Ollie.
Kate, jealous. I want to be a full-time digital nomad.
Right?
Yes. All right. So we're super excited to have Angie on. As you can clearly see, her business name, Permission to Kick Ass, totally fits her, right?
Yeah.
So we are super excited. I'm going to just bring her up now and add her to our stage.
Hi.
All right.
It's always a trip hearing yourself introduced. It's like, wow,
right?
I have done a lot in my career. That's awesome. Go me.
Yeah. You are a badass. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are all badasses.
Yes. But you're the number one badass in this group. Okay. So that's what's happening.
You. It's all about you.
Yes. Okay. Well, we love to get started with a coffee cup selfie with our guests. It's just 100+ selfies we've taken. We're so excited. Okay. What does your cup say? Because I love it.
It says future best-selling author. I call it my manifestation mug because I put literally an image of this exact mug on a vision board when I was working on my book. And then I found it in a bookstore.
That's awesome.
I love that. And side note, chat, comment, put what you would want on your mug for manifestation purposes. I just want to hear it. Tag us wherever you say it because I just need to, I just want to know. All right. Okay.
I have the most boring mug in the whole world today.
Is there nothing on it?
No.
Is it just a white vanilla mug?
White vanilla mug. This is the vision board waiting to happen, right?
Exactly.
Here. That's what we're gonna say.
Insert vision here.
Yes, there we go. That's what we see.
I'm gonna Sharpie that
right.
on there after this show.
I know. Okay, on 3, guys. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, let's shuffle some squares around here, and we are going to ask Angie some questions. We're going to get this ball rolling.
All right. So, Angie, what we said we're talking about today is your practical decision-making framework. Now, I had originally sent you a Run Show with questions on it, but we're changing things up, on the fly, because that's what we do. And I want to ask you this first question because you told this great story. I want to know, how did you come up with a practical decision-making framework? And then we're going to jump into kind of what it is and how you use it. So let's start with the how.
Yeah, I came up with it out of spite, if we're being perfectly honest. I was working in marketing in a corporate in-house role. And before the marketing team came on board, the company had always outsourced to external marketing agencies. So a lot of the folks within the company had gotten used to basically making marketing calls and like telling the agency what they wanted to happen. So it was difficult getting us to integrate with the rest of the company because it was just constant infighting. Everybody was fighting for their own idea. It was like 10 different versions of a company within a company. It was chaos, especially for those of us in the voice of marketing who are like, but it needs to be one voice, please. So we were getting a lot of pushback from the folks who didn't like the change, which most people don't like change. And I had to come up with a way to let folks know, okay, we can't pursue 300 initiatives just because we love you all. Like, that's just not going to work for the business. How can we come up with a way to let people down gently that's based on actual facts and not something that somebody can later come back and be like, well, my idea just got turned down because Angie doesn't like me. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. So I came up with a way of quantifying all of these ideas based on complexity and cost and the likely return to the business and how easy it was to implement. And when the spreadsheet did the math, it was easy for me to go back to these people and like, oh, look, you're way down here. I'm so sorry.
I love it. It's like telling them the bad news, but you're like, blame it on the spreadsheet. Sorry,
yeah.
nothing I can
it's
do
not me,
about
math.
Yeah, and it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, and if you recall, we all did the math together. Like we all picked on the scale of 1 to whatever what we thought this particular thing fell at. So there you go.
I love it. The math is actually mathing, guys. That's what's happening.
Yes. Okay. So I love that story. I love that you said you created it out of spite. Like just that very first intro makes me want to use it and be like, yes, because it is sometimes hard as a marketer to deliver bad news or to deliver listen, I know you love that idea, but it is, being able to say that to a client in a way where they understand. So this is where those real hard numbers come into play. So, okay, our actual first question, now that I made you tell that story, right, is, what is the practical decision-making framework and how does it work?
It is a sexy spreadsheet, basically. But at a high level, it takes like the positive impact of whatever it is that you're trying to do and divides it by the negative impact of whatever you're trying to do and spits out a number. And when I went into business for myself, I realized I needed something else, something that the numbers didn't quite account for, right? It makes sense in a corporate environment where we really got to talk about numbers, especially with thousands of employees and hundreds of stores to deal with in that environment that I worked in. But when it's me running my own business, gut instinct counts for something, right? And that's not always quantifiable. So then that made the spreadsheet a little bit less accurate than it was when I was in corporate, and I had to adjust it. So now it's got a new section. So I've got a section for your top 5 initiatives, right? You write down whatever projects you want to get done. You score on the 4 different categories. It spits out a number for you. And now there's a new section that says, ooh, what did I learn from this? What was my gut telling me before? Why does this feel right or wrong? Where do I want to go? Because sometimes you'll look at those numbers and go, ooh, I definitely should be working on this. And that feels good in your gut, feels good in your soul. And sometimes you'll look at what the spreadsheet recommends and goes, nope, I'm not going to do that. And that counts for something, right?
I am so obsessed with the fact that you made this. And like, you know, as a marketer, right? And Anna and I, we have clients. One of my avatar people is their CEO Steve's. They're like in their 60s and they don't do the la la la. They want like numbers and a profit and loss statement kind of a report. So the fact that you just created this, like, just translates into a marketer's dream, I feel, for the ones that have clients that are just about the numbers.
And I should tell people that I am a true creative, right? I am a writer by trade. I am very ADHD and prone to coming up with crazy ideas. So if I can find a way to do math on this, I really do believe that just about everybody can.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Creators have a hard time sometimes with those KPIs and like drilling it down. That's not where our brain naturally goes. So what you've done is you've created this tool that people can use that's going to be fantastic, make it fantastically easier to justify a little bit, but also to, like, if your marketing isn't working, taking a look and saying, what am I not embodying this maybe I should be taking another look at, or where did I stray from the formula that, you know?
It can be that, and it can be, you know, we've got probably 3 or 4 different angles that we could take for low-hanging fruit. You know, we've identified some opportunities within the funnel or within the offers, but we can't work on everything at once. What's the best use of our resources and our time? Like, how do we prioritize these projects? It can be really hard, especially when you're a solopreneur or you're running a small team, to not do everything at once because everything feels so impactful. So it's been super helpful to me to like quantify this and think about it in a different context than I normally would, which is my gut says this, off we go.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a tech geek and I love to reverse engineer. And I just love going into my, like, can I ask you, like, how long did it take you and how many versions did you create to get to where your spreadsheet is right now? Like, you know what I mean?
I would say, if I had to guess off the top of my head, because it's been several years since I developed this, it's probably been through 3 or 4 iterations. I didn't used to have complexity as part of the puzzle, but I think it's really, really important now, not just speed and impact and the cost, right? But the complexity of doing something really has an impact on the business too. I mean, I know what you mean. You know what I mean when I say negative, right? But it slows things down. It ties up resources. There is a cost, even if you are not paying for something particular. So I had to add that in at one point along the way. Then I mentioned the other iteration where I added in a spot to just kind of, you know, journal in a couple of lines. How does this land with me? What does this feel like? Does this feel accurate? Is there something else I could be doing? So it's been through several iterations. I've played with the math a couple of times. I played with the explanations a couple of times because it never fails. Whenever I run people through the spreadsheet, they're like, wait, am I scoring this low or am I scoring this high? How do I think about this? And I'm like, high speed, high score, low impact, low score. This is the way we're going to think about it.
So Angie, you actually have the spreadsheet here to share with us today. Do you want to walk us through kind of like how you would use it and what it looks like?
Sure. If you want to bring it up.
Yeah. Add this. Oh, sorry, Anna. Sorry. I forgot. I'm not, I get excited. I know you're that person.
I'm the adder. She's the,
I know. I do all the other things.
Mover. Okay.
All right. So you are looking at the decision matrix framework. And basically the way I had it set up was that there was a sample one that's filled out so that you can see how I think through these things. And then there was a blank space for you to do your own. And like, this is one of the iterations too, where I'm thinking about how to keep the instructions as simple as possible, but provide a little bit more information when you hover over it. So at a high level, let's say for a business, these are the examples. I need to create a new lead magnet and onboarding sequence where I need to make some offers and potentially convert folks so that I am generating an ROI or at least a break even once I get them on my email list, right? I need to write a book. That's a long-term thing, but it's such an authority builder and can open up doors, right? So it's very important, but it's going to take longer. I want to launch a membership community because I need that monthly recurring revenue. I need an abandoned cart sequence because I'm having a problem with people not completing purchases. And I want to do a Facebook ad campaign because everybody's telling me I need to do Facebook ad campaign, right? So there's 5 competing priorities. I am a solopreneur with one virtual assistant and an audio engineer for my podcast. So I can't do all of these things at once, especially when you think about things like writing a book and all of the complexities that come with publishing. Do I get an agent? Do I self-publish? Blah, blah, blah. So here's how I think about it. We're going to rank all of these 1 to 10, and these are your positive impacts. These are your kind of negative impacts. That's how I think about it overall. And again, like I said, this is going to be a middling impact, so we got a middling score. But if that was a high impact, like down here, launching a membership community, meaning this is going to bring me some revenue, this is going to bring me some fans in the form of new subscribers, this is going to save some sales, this is going to be fairly easy for me to implement, very low complexity, right? So can you see how I'm thinking through the scoring there?
Yeah, it's 1 through 10 is your score base then. So 1 being low, 10 being high.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And so
Like,
what's
I want to
happening is,
dive into this
Go ahead.
now. Like, I want to be,
right.
I'm so fascinated. Sorry, Angie, go ahead.
No, it's fine. So, I mean, I like to go with gut instinct, right? There's no right or wrong here. And so if I'm thinking about creating a new lead magnet and onboarding sequence, there's going to be a whole lot of writing, ideation, maybe some design, maybe some figuring out what the actual exercise or takeaway is going to be. And it may or may not make sales. It may or may not increase the rate of opt-in. So I'm just guessing that it's a 5, right? That's my own gut instinct. That's going to take me a long time to go through all of those things and iterate and figure out what the piece is going to be. So I'm going to give it a 4. It's a little bit on the slower side, right? Low or least is going a lower number. The cost, I'm probably, depending on how much I want to put into this, right? Some lead magnets are super simple. Some are just sign up for emails, right? But if I want to go a fully designed PDF or an audio series, there's going to be a cost to that because I don't design PDFs. I know that there's Canva out there, but even with Canva, I'm a little bit clueless on design. The complexity is not super high in my mind, but that's also because I'm a copywriter. And this is where that, like, your personal instincts and context matter on this, right? For me, it's not that complex to come up with a lead magnet onboarding sequence. I am a copywriter by trade. But for other folks who don't write and don't consider themselves to be creative, this might be an 8 or a 9 in terms of complexity. And so once you plug in all of these numbers, this cell over here is automatically doing the math for you. And it's like, if I change this and said, now we're at an 8, notice how that score just went down, right?
Yeah. So this is what I find so fascinating about this. This really is based on your own personal perceptions, right? So my speed for doing a lead magnet, I would probably put it closer to like 7 or 8 because I know exactly who I'd turn to and that they'd be able to turn it around in like a week kind of thing, right? So in my head, like my numbers would look very differently than yours, which would make that overall score for me as a business owner different. That's what I love about this is that it's based on, there's not like set values. I mean, there are set values, but there's not set parameters. Like the parameters are your own personal experience and your own business and your resources, community, and collaborations that you have set up for yourself. I love this.
Yes, I'm telling you. Okay, I just want to ask, and look, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to encourage you to go to the YouTube link so you can just come to this marker at 19 minutes and check out Angie's spreadsheet like live. But Angie's working on something. So even if it's not in this podcast, it's going to be in the description. So look, but Angie, can you tell me like the overall score? Like, like I know it averages out. Can you explain to me, like my brain is like maybe too much coffee. So the lower the score, is that like the priority level, like, or just the
higher the score is the priority level.
Got it.
Right?
Got it. Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to make sure. Got it. Okay.
Because what's happening is we're multiplying impact times speed, the positive impact on the business, and dividing it by the negative, the costs.
Yeah. Okay,
and so the higher the number, the higher the priority.
Yeah. No. I'm like, I want to do this for every client today, like ASAP.
Right.
I mean, it's so good. And I just love the fact that you took the time to know, like, hey, this is what would help me in, like you said, the practical decision making.
Yes. And it really helps you to figure out the priorities as we discussed. But like, look here, if I know that writing a book is part of the process, I don't want to put it at the bottom of my list forever just because it's going to be complex and it's going to take a lot of time. So that's why I had this notes section about like what's coming up, how to think about that. And there's a little prompt here too. Do you agree or do you disagree? Right? Think about it. And I disagree that this should be low priority. So I want to chunk this down, and I might do this exercise again, specifically breaking down little book related tasks, researching how to pitch an agent, doing the outline. And then I might do another scoring section just for the book.
Well, and I think too, like you could look at this in so many different ways. Like that overall score doesn't necessarily mean start on abandoned cart sequence first because it's number one, right? What it might be is, you know, the majority of my time is going to be put towards this, but I'm still going to allocate an hour a day towards writing my book. And then that's where what you just talked about, which is that what are the steps to get my book done? You know, writing the proposal, writing the first chapter, you know, that kind of a thing, and taking those steps becomes part of your systems and process. So it's almost like this could be considered a time management tool as well. To help you prioritize tasks.
It really helps to prioritize, especially since this is like a one and done thing, right? Since I'm a writer, I can knock this out pretty quickly. And now it's no longer in my brain or on my to-do list, taking up bandwidth, having me worry about it. It's one less thing to hold me back.
No. And I just want to go back again to how like these are your initial initiatives, and then you can take that, and then each initiative has their own metric, right? Like their own matrix. And I love that, because then you can say you do have a team. You're like, okay, you're in charge of the writing the book. Here's the matrix for that. Let's write it all out. Let's see where we are and go from there. I just want to virtually hug you through the screen right now, Angie. Like, this is so good.
It really is.
It's interesting because recently, I don't know if you're familiar with the Strengths Finder, the Clifton Strengths Finder. But I took that assessment recently, and surprising absolutely no one who is looking at this spreadsheet, my top 2 strengths are activator, which is somebody that can bring an idea into reality, and strategic. And so I'm using these, like, I didn't know that that's what I was doing until I learned about the strengths, but I was like, oh, I know how to bring these into reality. And this is how I break it down, basically.
And, you know, and what you've done too, is you've created a pathway for other people to do the same thing, right? A pathway for people who don't think like an activator and, you know, a strategic. Like that now they can take your spreadsheet and you take the guesswork out of it. I mean, we're not saying this is going to solve your every marketing problem, right? That's not what this is. It's based on your own perceptions, and your input is going to be what determines this. But it does take you through almost like a steps of instruction to think through the process of where should I be spending my time, my money, my energy, and taking that guesswork out. And I love that you said you started using this with clients. You know, but then as an entrepreneur or small business owner, really could apply to so many other areas.
Oh my gosh. I could even see using this, like, okay, for a family life. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're going to renovate the kitchen. We're going to go travel to Japan. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways to use this. But I literally, Angie, I'm like dying to use this, like just dying.
You know, our guests are going to ask about how do I get the practical decision-making framework. So what are we telling them?
I am going to send a link after we are done recording, and I'm going to make sure that it's in template form so that you can create your own decision-making. And I'm not even going to ask you to opt in for that. Just my gift to you. If it helps you, great. Follow along, get to know me, come into the world, and we can talk about what you're learning.
Okay, so that kind of a freebie that doesn't even require an opt-in. I'm just going to say right now, like anyone who does not take advantage of this, I don't have the words. I don't know.
Yes, but also I want to say, if you do get this, you need to go tag Angie on all the places and share how you're using it, because that's pretty cool. I think you could at least share and tag her. You know what I mean?
I would love that.
I know I might. Angie's gonna be like, look, Selena, I know you love it. Like every day is a little crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now listen, to get that,
Yeah.
you're going to go visit the annaandselena.com/blog, and you're going to go
Yeah.
to the Angie Colee show, the practical decision making with Angie Colee. And then we're going to have all of that information there, including the toolkit, which we're going to bring up next, and how to find her and all of the things so that you can follow her, you can tag her, you can tell her how amazing she is. You know, you can, all the,
Let's just,
one of those cup of coffee things for this one.
Yeah.
You know,
I do have one of those actually.
Yeah.
Drop that in and we'll add it as like, and if you want to support her, then that,
yes. Yeah, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I'm going to bring up the other toolkit just because, you know, I want to share this other resource, but honestly, I'm geeking out over this framework so hard that I forgot we have another toolkit and resource. Angie, tell everybody what me and Anna chose and why they should go listen to it.
Well, this is awesome. This is an episode of my show, which is called Permission to Kick Ass. And basically, I created a show that I needed when I first started my entrepreneurship journey. As I mentioned, I'm a super creative person. I had to really work hard to learn business skills and to understand that the creative skills that came naturally to me and the business skills are both skill sets that can be learned if you apply your focus to them. So I approached business always thinking that there are these people over here that are golden children that get it, and I am the hopeless screw up over here that will never make sense of any of this. And it really dawned on me one day when I was at a business conference and I saw somebody come down off stage after giving their big shiny presentation about, you know, one word trick to make $11 billion, whatever they were talking about, right? And they were at the bar just a couple seats down from me talking to a friend about how they lost their biggest client and got hit with a lawsuit and they didn't know what they want to do. And a light bulb went off like, oh, you can be both. Success and struggle are not mutually exclusive. There's not a wall between me and the people up on stage that I want to be like. So that's basically what this show is. It's two entrepreneurs sitting together at a bar or at a coffee shop. If you know, you don't have to drink to be on the show, talking about what business is really like. And I loved this episode because this is my friend Mike Lucas, who is a stand-up comedian. He is now launching into training people how to be funny and like how to think through the joke deconstruction process. And he tells this really great story about how he made it by every definition of the word. He made it. He was on the Tonight Show twice. It was his dream to be on that show. And then he wasn't invited back. And he was like, whoa, what happens? Now what? And had to, like, it really just started him down this path of learning about himself and, you know, deconstructing his own comedy and finding out what was funny about it instead of just throwing his best bits together like he had done before. And just kind of evolving past what you were naturally good at. And I loved this episode.
Oh, I haven't listened to it yet, but I can't wait to listen to it. It really did. It was one of those ones where Selena and I saw it and we're like, this sounds
this is it.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, you just described it. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to go.
Yeah.
Listen.
And yes, like whatever your service type is, right? When you are not invited back or when you are not picked or chosen, there's still that like, ooh, ouch. Like what you wrote on the description is like, how do you not melt into a puddle and call it quits, right?
Yes.
I want to ask Mike.
Yeah.
I want to ask him if he's using your decision-making framework to navigate his next steps.
Oh,
I think that would be a good one. I never actually shared that with him, but now I'm going to have to go. Mike, this is how you do it. Go through the decision making.
Hey, Mike, Angie's sending you this part of our chat, and we're asking for her. So, all right, okay. Look, love it. Oh my gosh, Angie, I could talk to you all day long. I know Anna could too.
You've been
the feeling is mutual.
For so much great value.
Yes.
Tell everyone where you want them to go first on this list of places to find you and just all the things about this.
I say go to permissiontokickass.com and sign up for emails. That's how I let people know that new episodes are out. That's how I let people know what I'm working on, where I'm going to be when I'm traveling. That's the most up-to-date information because I'm not always the best about updating my social media.
I love it.
You follow me on social media if you want random pictures of my cats or my food or like whatever's happening in my life. You follow me on email if you want to actually know what's going on in my business brain, right? The other places, like I said, Stella, my cat, also has an Instagram, Stella Kicks Ass, that I update sporadically. YouTube, LinkedIn, you can find me in all of these places. About to get a lot more active with promoting the podcast on all of those channels because the discussions are just too good not to break down, as we know, being on this show.
Yes,
So, yeah,
yes. I'm going to tell you, I follow quite a lot of cat creators. So now I'm going to just add, now I'm going to go back and be like, maybe I'm following Angie's when I don't even realize it. So
love it. Love it.
Angie. So go follow her at all the places. There's no reason for you to not find her. Like, seriously, she's everywhere.
And if you head to that blog, all of these links will be in there. So then you just have to click and follow, and follow. We make it so easy for you.
Yes.
And for you,
so easy.
We like easy.
Framework. This is like top of the number one things to be doing. I'm just
man.
gonna put it out there.
Yes.
I'm going to use
Angie.
that and so many. You must because
no.
Love it. Love it.
Seriously, thank you so much, Angie. Like, this has been such a pleasure, like, to have you on to share that. I think when Anna and I both like leaned in, like, what? Like, I don't know. This is why I love this show. I think like it allows Anna and I to kind of meet cool people that we never knew existed until we put feelers out and say, hey, let's go. And by the way, I would totally meet you at a bar and I would have a margarita or I'd have a Moscow Mule. I'm just saying, Anna and I can do both. Yeah. Anna and I can
where
do both.
are you guys? I need to know now.
We're in Texas.
I'm going to Fort Worth this week.
What?
to the Badass Business Summit.
Okay. I was just talk after. We'll talk.
Yeah. So, okay, Angie from Anna and I, big hearts. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We're gonna say bye, everybody, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.